Your mind is not always trying to help you. Sometimes it traps you. If you overthink everything, if your brain never seems to stop, and if simple decisions somehow become exhausting, this video is for you. Because the truth about overthinking is not just that you think too much. It's that your mind keeps you stuck in a loop that feels productive, but usually isn't. You keep replaying the same conversation. You keep checking the same decision. You keep imagining what could go wrong, even when nothing has actually happened yet. And the strangest part is that it can feel important. It can feel responsible. It can feel like you are being careful. But overthinking is not the same as clarity. It is often just fear wearing the mask of logic. Welcome to the channel, where we explore the thoughts, fears, and hidden patterns that shape the way people feel and think. Here, we turn confusion into clarity, silence into meaning, and ordinary emotions into something deeper. If you've ever felt stuck in your own mind, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about overthinking, what it really is, why it happens, and why it can be so hard to escape once your mind gets caught in it. Overthinking is not just thinking a lot. Thinking a lot can be useful. It can help you solve problems, make plans, and understand a situation more clearly. Overthinking is different. Overthinking keeps you circling around the same thought without moving forward. You replay, you question, you imagine, you compare, you hesitate. It feels active, but it often leads nowhere. You may think you are being thorough. You may think you are preparing yourself, but after a while, the mind stops exploring and starts looping. And once that happens, the thought no longer helps you. It begins to drain you. That is one of the most frustrating things about overthinking. It can look like effort, even when it is really just internal noise. Your brain is built to protect you. It wants safety. It wants certainty. It wants to avoid pain, embarrassment, regret, and failure. That is why overthinking often shows up when something matters to you. A message you sent, a decision you made, a relationship you care about, a future you cannot fully control. The more important something feels, the harder the mind tries to protect you from making a mistake. It tells you to think again, check again, review again, imagine every possible outcome. But the brain often confuses uncertainty with danger. And once it starts treating uncertainty like a threat, it pushes you into mental overdrive. You are not just thinking about the problem anymore. You are trying to escape the feeling the problem creates. That is why overthinking can feel so intense. It is not only about the thought itself. It's about the emotion underneath it. One of the biggest traps in overthinking is the illusion of control. You tell yourself that if you just think a little more, you'll finally feel ready. If you analyze one more detail, you'll know what to do. If you replay the situation enough times, you'll discover the perfect answer. But life rarely gives perfect answers. Sometimes you will not get total certainty. Sometimes the best decision is only clear after you make it. Sometimes waiting for complete confidence only keeps you stuck.
Overthinking gives you the feeling that you are doing something useful. That is what makes it so hard to notice. You are not lying on the floor doing nothing. You are mentally busy. You are active inside your head. But activity is not always progress. Some thoughts move you closer to a solution. Other thoughts just keep you inside the same emotional room.
Overthinking can feel different for different people, but the pattern is usually similar. It can feel like replaying a conversation long after it ended, imagining what other people really meant, questioning whether you said the wrong thing, turning one small problem into 10 bigger ones, feeling mentally tired without doing much at all. It can also make simple decisions feel strangely heavy. What should I say? What if I choose wrong? What if I regret it later? What if people see me differently? What if this means something bigger? The mind loves these questions because they create the illusion of preparation. But too many questions can also become a kind of cage. And the hardest part is that from the outside, nothing may look dramatic. You may be sitting still. You may be quiet. You may seem fine. But inside, your thoughts are moving everywhere at once. That is what makes overthinking so exhausting. The body is still, but the mind is running. A lot of people think the answer is to force the thoughts away. Just stop thinking. Just relax. Just let it go. But if it were that easy, you would have done it already. The mind does not usually respond well to pressure. The more you try to punch the thought out of existence, the more it often returns. That does not mean you are broken. It just means the brain works in loops, especially when fear is involved. If you are afraid of making a mistake, your mind may keep checking. If you are afraid of being judged, your mind may keep rehearsing. If you are afraid of loss, your mind may keep scanning for danger. So the goal is not to declare war on every thought. The goal is to notice when the thought has stopped being useful. This is where things start to change. Not every thought deserves full attention. Not every fear deserves a full investigation. Not every question needs immediate answers. A useful thought moves you toward action. It helps you decide something, understand something, or solve something. A looping thought keeps you in place. It repeats the same fear with different words. It changes shape, but not direction. You can ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Is it giving me new information? Or am I just replaying the same fear again? That question alone can reveal a lot. Because sometimes what feels like deep thinking is actually just mental repetition. And once you see that clearly, you can start stepping out of the loop. At the deeper level, overthinking is often less about intelligence and more about fear. Fear of regret, fear of rejection, fear of being wrong, fear of losing control, fear of looking foolish, fear of choosing the wrong path. The mind would rather keep you busy than let you face uncertainty directly. Stillness can feel dangerous when you are used to surviving through thought. So the thoughts continue, not because they are helping, not because they are always true, but because they feel safer than silence. That is why overthinking can be so hard to escape. It is not just a habit. For many people, it becomes a way of coping. So, what helps? First, slow the loop down.
You do not always need to answer the thought immediately. Second, separate fear from fact. Just because a thought feels intense does not mean it is true. Third, notice what the thought is trying to protect you from. Often, that is where the real issue is. Fourth, move from thought to action when you can. A small decision is often better than endless mental replay. And fifth, accept that some uncertainty will always remain. That is one of the hardest truths. You will not always know everything before you act. You will not always feel ready. You will not always feel calm. But action can create clarity in a way thinking alone often cannot. Sometimes the way out of the mind is not more thought, it is movement.
The real truth about overthinking is this. It is not proof that you are broken. It is not proof that you are weak. It is often proof that something matters to you more than you know. But when the mind turns into a prison, even careful thinking can become a trap. That is why awareness matters. Once you can see the loop for what it is, you are no longer completely inside it. You can pause, you can breathe, you can question the question. You can step back from the thought instead of disappearing into it. And that is where freedom begins. Not in having every answer, not in perfect certainty, but in learning when to stop feeding the loop. Overthinking can make you feel like you are trying very hard to protect yourself. But sometimes the thing you need most is not more thought. You need distance. You need clarity. You need to trust that not every answer has to come before action. If this video felt personal, that probably means you already know what overthinking feels like. And maybe that means you are closer to understanding it than you think. If you want more videos like this, stay here.